Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Duval Dive. Hope, if you're watching here on YouTube, that you enjoyed those little shots there provided by my personal champion. We'll get him in here in a minute. But yeah, so rookie minicamp, a thing that happened, an awful lot that happened. And make sure you check out both Fans First Sports Network and Big Cat Country for all the stuff that me and Travis D. Holmes wrote down there. But enough about that. We went to the mailbag. This is our running back centric episode because y'all cats all asked all sorts of stuff about running backs this week. And first of all, thank you for it. A lot of intelligent questions as per usual from all of you out there, all of you Duval divers helping us go deep. And so thank you for that. But enough with the banter and all much and how great you guys are taking care of this. How about somebody who takes care of me while I try to talk to you card-carrying members of the Duval Devout? How about we bring in my personal champion, Travis D. Holmes, Big Cat Country. Welcome in, my guy. Great to see you, of course.
Man, you gotta love a live episode. I need you guys to know this is live. If this was a ransom video, I would have a newspaper up right now with a clock just to let you know this is. Hey, get into the comments. Let's talk about
it. And the date on it would be current if you're holding up that newspaper. That's right. You're talking about getting the comments right out the gate. Before we kick the stream one more time, Robert calling his shot. 5 more minutes until NTN is traded. Maybe that'll come up a conversation. Who knows? It is the running back episode. But terrible, just terrible.
Just terrible.
But DG in the house, I am deep in the dive. Okay, you know what? We know you do that. We've seen the way you do stats there. Action News Jacks in the building for sure. Always great to hear from DG. But let's go ahead and get into it. Obviously, there's a lot of scuttlebutt regarding the running back position. We've talked about it a butt ton here in the draft, that there's been a line in the sand. And I think a lot of things that'll come up too. We're going to go ahead and hit the bell for it now. There's going to be an offensive line-centric episode. That's the only other position y'all went as nuts about, which it warmed my heart, Travis G. Holmes, that happened. But let's get into these running backs with the first question here, my friend.
Okay. All right. So first question via Doug Anderson on X. Running backs, a competition or a group of complementary role players, which I thought was just a dope question. How do you feel about it? What's going on, Nash?
That's okay. So it's the wording that throws me there. We don't call it as going to be a competition already. I don't think that's a mystery, right? I'll pose the question to you because I know I've been loud and proud about the whole thing since I said what I said on the draft wrap up. Make sure you check that out if you haven't yet. But which of the drafted running backs, first of all, and I am addressing your question eventually, Doug Anderson, which through Blue Sky or Twitter, I forgot to check.
That was X, actually.
Okay, so Twitter, right. I ain't telling people I'm on X. People get the wrong idea. Anyways, I'm a family man, Travis. You know this. So, which drafted running back here in this 2025 class do you think has a greater chance of seeing time on the field? LaQuint Allen or Bashaw Tatum, right?
Bashaw Tatum. I mean, but we talked about this. Though,
thank you.
Yeah, we have talked about this. I do believe that LaQuint Allen has the higher chance of getting more snaps just because his ability to pass protect, his ability to catch out of the backfield, his ability to line out wide and catch balls even like split out. I think he's just more of a weapon in those passing downs. And he still is a plus in the run game. He's not Bashaw Tootin. He's not Travis Etienne. I don't think he's any of those guys in the just running the ball in hand. But catching the ball and protecting in the pass and not giving away what you're doing, he's going to be on the field. I do truly believe he is the best, third down back. He is the best pass catching back. He is the best pass protecting back on this roster right now. So I think just that's a whole separate conversation of him just having that advantage there. But if you're talking like explosiveness, if you're talking the ability to like be that true game-changing running back to be used a little bit like Miami Dolphins use, Devon Achane early on. Yeah, I can see that being for, Bashaw Tootin. So, yes, they both have their own different ways. But until I see the day that Travis Etienne is not here, that becomes a way more difficult conversation to say Bashaw Tootin's going to have more carries or something like that than, Travis Etienne. I think it's going to probably be LaQuint Allen. But in answering the full question from Doug, hey, a competition or a group of complementary role players, I absolutely believe early on it should be viewed as a competition because Travis Etienne is on that 5th-year option.
Am I answering the question as both? Is that what I'm doing, Travis?
I think
I am.
And I didn't even think about you. You said it. I'm actually like I'm towing that line, or I'm walking that line right now. I'm saying it's technically, early on it's going to be a competition because if the right team gives the right draft compensation for Travis Etienne or that offer, and they're seeing the right things from LeQuint Allen, from Bashaw Tootin, then yes, that you can consider it a competition because they might not be here by week 1. I think that's a fair way of looking at it. But for the moment, you have to say it's a committee because you have a lot of guys who you might be able to believe in. Does that make sense?
No, that's a great point. I will add this. I don't know how air quotes protected Tank Bigsby is, but is there a universe where they practice squad him even, I wonder?
Ooh. That's hard because if Tank Bigsby not on this roster as done on that rookie contract, somebody's got to be trading something for him. I mean, just based on how much you're paying him and based on the production you saw from him running the ball in the 2024 season. I think because you don't have to pay him for a while. His compensation might be closer to Travis Etienne's or maybe even better. And that's a weird thing for me to have to say because I've never even thought about that until just now.
Yeah, and I know he's like, I'll put it this way. I don't think they would take his option next offseason if things continue, So, yeah. Well, and does he even have an option? I'm forgetting. That's
no.
That's the wrong round. I'm way off.
Right.
Yeah.
Tank will be a 4-year guy. So he's been on the team for 2 years, 3 years. So next year will be his 4th year. Yeah. So it wouldn't even be an option at that point. It's just that'd just be his contract season.
And DG asks, curious what the role for Allen is, if any. And I think pass protector is the thing. What we're really, and this is what makes.
Can I hop on that? Can I hop on that for a second? Because hey Dan, curious what the role for Allen is going to be. That's going to be fun because you mean to tell me you don't think Allen is a better pass catcher and pass protector than Tank Bigsby? I don't think anybody's going to argue that. So if you're saying that he's a better pass protector and a better rusher,
we're still learning that, but that's on the table. At the very least, it's like in the middle. But are you telling me? So wait, are you telling me your film research is leading you believe that today is an outright true statement? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, yeah. Okay. I don't think I'm crazy. I don't think I'm crazy in saying
I'm making sure I'm hearing what you're telling me. No one said you were crazy.
It wasn't his game. It wasn't Tank's game. Tank's game was being an explosive running back, but not necessarily in the passing downs. So that wasn't what it was for him at any point, even in college. So I'm just saying, based on what I saw from him as a prospect and what I see for him now, I'm just keeping it a buck. I'm keeping it equal to everyone.
As you do every week, baby.
I think LeQuint Allen is a better today pass protecting running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars before even seeing the man in pads. And I don't think that's crazy to say. That's just, and I've seen nothing additional from Tank Bigsby to disprove that. So if that's going to be the case for this versatile offense, for this GM and this head coach who have been full steam ahead on everything that's versatile, they need guys to be able to do everything that includes pass protecting, that includes catching the ball. Then I'm just thinking that I think that because of that, a guy like LeQuint Allen, a guy like Bashaw Tootin is going to have the edge over Tank Bigsby and may even have that edge over Travis Etienne unless he shows us something in this different scheme that we just haven't seen from him yet.
Well, don't be surprised if that take just ends up on YouTube Shorts throughout the next week here. Anyways, with all that in mind.
That's Dan G. I'm hopeful Tank and Etienne can improve on third down, but I agree. LeQuint Allen led the FBS in reception, so I get it. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what it is. That's really where I am at this point on that. And also want to hit back to Robert. Tank runs harder than Etienne.
I mean,
that's fair. They are different backs. They run different ways. Yeah,
right.
One is going to be better in a man gap scheme. The other one's going to be better in a zone. And they just are different stylistically. So I don't want to say one runs harder. It's just they run different. But that's no different than the three backs that Liam Cohen had in Tampa Bay last year, and he used all of them different. So I don't have a problem if he wants to use those guys differently and just That's what the old school New England Patriots were good at. They always had that one white running back who was their passing down back, and he only did that. They had the great running back who was good at the wide zone. They had the other back that was good at man. Like, if you're a good coach, you're going to find ways to use your guys to the best of their abilities. I have no problem with that at all, man.
Whether it was, like White, I forget his first name, was that passing back you mentioned, but they also, too, had that one running back, or then they still had fullbacks, right? Whether it's Heath Evans or Patrick Pass that could still catch passes, and LaQuint Allen can do that. So I think we're in that place where we're still – the one place where I don't see a lot of versatility in a single player is the running back position. Everywhere else on the Jacksonville Jaguar roster seems to have that. It's very interesting. But the reason why that doesn't bother me so much, Travis, is because if you haven't figured it out there watching the draft, hell, Liam Cohen talk, James Gladstone talk, Tony Baselli. Okay, well, all we really know about Tony Baselli talking lately is about how much he plans on using those Prowler jerseys. Boom! So with all that being said, this team is going to try to attack you through the air first. I feel pretty confident in that. So if you come out with an air quotes predictable running back, cool. You still ain't going to stack the box unless it's 3rd and short, right? So, I dare you to stack the box against BTJ and Travis Hunter. I dare you. I double dare you, mother beep. And then Brandon Strange will catch it in a check down anyway. So
that's the biggest reason. That's the biggest reason that addition makes so much sense, man. Is the fact that teams won't be able to stack the box, and you are almost forcing them to play too high, and then that just makes it easier on your offensive line, easier on your offense. So this isn't a Travis Hunter episode or a BTJ episode, but I just wanted to say, that's another reason I'm a fan of that move.
Well, actually, the whole reason I make it that episode quickly to hijack it is to bring it in. This time last year, we were talking about Evan Ingram as the most underrated player on this team. That position group is the most underrated on this team right now, at least on offense, right? Because I think they have, regardless of who's doing what, they got a butt ton of assets back there. This is the best I've felt about the Jaguars' offensive backfield since I started covering this team as closely as I have.
Yeah, no,
I
think I might be there, but I don't know. That James Robinson, Travis Etienne backfield was solid. It's just that the old
you say that now. You were selling Etienne short at the time. See.
He was fumbling, man. I'm sorry.
No. I mean,
later.
I mean, before that too. But yeah, I love how you tease that. But he sips the mug knowing he done teased it. See, for you pod listeners, Travis trying to be smooth today. Hold on, you're doing all these other comments. I'm not there yet. Hold on. But,
okay. But all right, that was Robert just coming in to kind of back what we were saying earlier. If that's the case, referencing pass blocking, then both running backs are gone because both new running backs can pass block.
We've hinted at that, Travis D. Holmes, have we not? To Robert's credit, hey, Robert listening to this show is something we can rely on because he's been great at one of the first and foremost Duval divers. Salute to Robert quickly, of course. Let's give Cedric Holmes this thing though. There, you talk about can't wait till late. We'll have an episode for a reaction, but we ain't doing that tonight. Whatever. Let other people do that.
Schedule reaction, but also from Zenith. In Zenith RX on, I believe this is on Blue Sky, if I'm not mistaken. How many different starters are we expecting this season? Do we expect multiple running back sets to be a key formation for the offense? I mean, to the second question, I feel like that's an easy answer, or easier from my perspective, just because Liam Cohen's Tampa Bay Buccaneers led the league in the usage of 2 running back sets. I don't mean 2 running back sets like using a fullback. I mean 2 running back sets with actually using both, I guess we'll call it starting level running backs on the field at the same time. Whether that's Rashard White and goodness gracious, what is the guy's name in Tampa? Drawing a big Bucky Irving at the same time. So that's from my perspective. Obviously, yes, they're going to have a lot of multiple running back sets because that's what we've seen from him. And if that's not the case, then yeah, that's okay. This doesn't have to be the new Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This can be the new Los Angeles Rams, or it can just be a new thing in general. Liam Cohen actually intimated the same thing after he got hired. This may not be exactly what I did in Tampa. This may not be exactly what happened, in Los Angeles. This might be its own new thing because those guys didn't have a Travis Hunter and a BTJ at receiver. Maybe this is its own thing, and it's not something that we haven't seen before. That's quite possible.
Yeah.
But to that first question, how many different starters are we expecting this season? And now we kind of circle back to that previous conversation we were having. Is Travis Etienne here week 1?
Well, yeah, golly. Does he get moved? That's an interesting point. I don't know.
Start the conversation.
Yeah, well, you tell me what you think, man, because where it gets tricky for me is the Jags have already picked up his 5th round option. Is a team going to want to bring him in knowing they got to pay the boy next year? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but if you're going to give him if you're going to give the Jaguars a 4th round pick, 3rd round pick, anywhere in that range, 3rd to 4th round pick, and you might not get it. Now, let me be very clear. Like if you have a running back injury early on or something along those lines, and you in training camp, hamstring, something along those lines that could linger. Yeah, and you want to throw, if you have 2 4th round picks and you want to throw the Jaguars a 4th rounder, I think they take that without blinking. That's my personal opinion. I could be wrong, but that's just my opinion. I think that they would take that, and yeah, why not? Like if you have to pay him, cool. But if you don't have to pay him, like let's say you're entering this as it's a rental. And we'll see what happens. And if the team crashes and burns, then you have the easy ability to just move off of it and just kind of keep it moving. And if it's maybe it goes well and he gets paid, that's not a big problem. The running back value is not crazy out there. Like you're not going to break the bank to pay him like CMC money because he hasn't had enough of a resume to kind of put that up. You're not giving him Saquon money. So from that perspective, you're paying him like a top safety, basically. I'm okay with that just because of the diminished value of the running back position overall. So if there's a 4th on the table, I got to take that, bro. Now, 5th is when it starts getting dicey depending on how you view the strength of this next upcoming draft. But yeah, from my perspective, I think if Travis Etienne is on this roster week 1, then it's quite possible you might have multiple different starters, up through the trade deadline, and we'll see how this season goes, and we'll see how that works. If anybody gets injured on the team in the Jacksonville Jaguars backfield or other teams that may be willing to offer something.
And we've already hinted on this. Take. Yeah, we've already hinted on this show that there's rumors about how well Etienne may or may not take care of himself. So if that's the case, it's hard for me to believe that they didn't draft Tootin for the preparation of him being. They expect him to be injured.
Yeah,
basically.
The plan of moving off of him and just kind of figuring out what that's going to look like on the 5th year option. That's a fair point. Like,
and they got enough picks. I don't know that they care enough. I'm not saying they won't take it. Let me start with this. I think you're right. If someone goes, here's a 4th, may the force be with you, they will make that deal. You say it's just your opinion. Travis, it's an educated opinion backed by a hypothesis from watching James Gladstone do his first thing as a GM. You are not pulling that out of your entire keister at all. Maybe a portion of it at best. But the punchline is this. I'm glad you like that because it was meant to be funny. But I think there's a lot of there. But to my mind, there's just as much value for the Jags to just keep Etienne in the building, maximize his opportunity, get the psychological advantage of a player that's on a contract year, which essentially this is for him, right? There is a marked advantage in production for players typically who are in their contract year to have a big year because they're trying to show out. Hey, take advantage of it. Give Tootin a year to develop and just rinse and repeat the same way you moved on from Robinson at the time as a franchise, by the way. I know it wasn't the same staff, but you know where I'm going. The blueprint's there. Heck, if things go the way they should have, they would have read your article calling the shot a few years ago, but I don't want to talk that trash right now. The punchline's this, my friend. I think it's all there that if they just let the contract sort of slide and run out, I think they're gaining just as much as they would from another pick in the 26th draft. So
no, that's fair, and I'm very happy we have Dan Griffiths, Action Sports Jackson, in the chat today, just because I happened to see his tweet from February 25th. Oh, sorry, February 5th, 2025. The Jaguars running back struggled in pass protection in 2024. Travis Etienne allowed the second most pressures of any running back and had PFF's worst pass protection grade for a running back. Tank Bigsby didn't qualify as he rarely saw the field due to his struggles on third down.
2024. This is back when he and I.
2024.
This is back when he and I are still coworkers. How about that? Like, right?
So this is why this conversation is necessary. Again, we're talking about pass protection and how these Bashaw Tootin and how LaQuint Allen are strong in those areas, because that's why it matters. When you're talking about someone who's like second worst in the league, and then another guy who still can't get on the field in front of that guy, that deserves a conversation, unfortunately. But yeah. Just before we get a quick memo, let me catch up on these comments.
Please, there's a few in here I would wanted to look at here.
All right. So they're both gone. It's possible. There's a possibility. I guess ETN and Tank might be gone. Liam wants his guys, like most incoming head coaches. Like that's just obvious. Yeah, man. I'd like it to be quarterback, but I'm not even sure what that's referencing.
I think he might have been when I was talking about the best since however I've been covering the team. I mean, if you're talking about bounce backs from a position group, if you want it to be Trevor, I think the table's set, but that's not a position group. That's one dude. And it ain't like Trevor's been playing bad or not up to snuff where the running backs, it could be argued, were. I would also blame that too on the O-line, but that's a separate question.
There. F. Well, welcome to the chat, sir. Doug's running scheme heavily relied on explosive plays. I would actually argue the opposite.
Me too.
Interestingly, because I think the Jaguars were seriously good at explosive plays and still struggled to score points. Why is that? Because they had to be super efficient because the offense mandated that everything had to be 10-play drives, 12-play drives to score. Like I think they were explosive enough. They just weren't getting the basic plays, the basic third down conversions, running the ball, whether it's running the ball or passing the ball. I think they were just bad on third downs and fourth downs, and that just doomed their season from the O-line, the running backs, short passing game, etc.
To your point, BTJ didn't break records by getting yak on screens. That's not what happened.
That's it. Cedric Holmes, again, Jags are the fastest team in the division right now, maybe in the league. That's actually probably legitimate.
Really? Okay. I was curious what you think.
I think that might be legitimate. You take Travis Hunter, Brian Thomas Jr., and De'Ami Brown as your three starting receivers, then that's not. And then you add Bashaw Tootin, and maybe you want to add keep Travis Etienne in that same equation. Like that's a really fast skill position group, like right there on the offense.
I think it was a tweet again by our good friend Dan Griffiths. It might have even been today. It was recent, but he pointed out in the past 22 years or so, from 2003 to this season, 5 of the fastest Jaguars in the combine at the 40 are on the current roster. BTJ, Travis Hunter, BTJ, Bashaw Tootin, and the Tulane kid.
Caleb
Ransaw, thank
you. Which was I think he said it was like the fastest or the second fastest safety in the history of the I'm like, wait, in the history of the league? Like what? That sounds crazy. It just sounded like a crazy stat, but apparently it was true. And I was like, all right, cool. So yeah, they're in on this athleticism and speed with this youth movement. I'll tell you that. Dan Griff says I'd like to hear more from you, Udisky.
Wouldn't we all? Winter is coming.
Yes. Robert says he'd take a fourth all day if that's what
for ETN.
For ETN. Cedric Jack Kaiser is maybe a starter opening day. This draft class looks to be great. I'm not willing to say that just yet, but
it's not that I don't think Jack Kaiser is good. And see, I have buy-in too for this same theory from Locked On Jaguars, Tony Wiggins by now at this point. But it's because I don't think he's going to be on the squad to play outside linebacker, and he is not going to supplant Foye Oluokun quite yet.
I'm not ready to make any assessments based on guys I've seen in underwear and shirts at this point, which is with helmets. So yes,
which is you by the way.
People are excited.
Which is you on May 10th, by the way, because you were at rookie minicamp. Shouts to you, Big Cat Country. Anyways, continue.
Looking forward to the 19th. But yes, at the end of the day, that's kind of what Hef is saying. Stop crowning rookies after 2 days of rookie minicamp. That's it. Don't get excited. Feel free to love it, but don't go crazy.
Hef, I love that you're managing the expectations, and it's a good thing for you to do. I'm not dissing the public service you're providing, but let the people heal, man. Let the people heal. It's an off season without Trent bleeping Bulky. The guys are excited, y'all. That's all it is.
So if you want to say don't crown guys until we can get some pads on or preseason going and everything else, that's absolutely fair. And that's even legitimate. So how about let's get into one of those more difficult conversations or questions. Cool. Clueless anti-football on the Jaguars Discord. I won't read the first part of that. We just blacked that bad boy out. Didn't happen. Bashaw Tootin had 4 fumbles in his final college season, but with only 1 loss. Etienne had 1 fumble last season, unfortunately, with that being the most notable one. That was week 1 against the Miami Dolphins. Along with Tank having a fumble here and there. What can you say that will assure fans that fumbling is not going to be an issue with this team? And how is the new offense staff going to ensure that fumbles are not an issue with this running back corps? Ooh, that was a question. Okay.
So how do we assure fans that fumbling is not going to be an issue? His name is LaQuint Allen. No.
Nah, bro. Let me be real. It is not my job. It is not Kyle's job. It is not our job to assure fans anything. And frankly, I mean that is Liam Cohen, James Gladstone, and Tony Basellis. Like, I am not here to have pom poms on and trying to cheer these guys on. I'm just telling you what I believe.
I think should count here. Udinsky as well should be.
I mean, as soon as we get the chance to talk to him, for the moment, that man is just in the lab working. Yeah. For the moment, that man is in the lab working, and that's all I can say. If I ain't talking to him, I can't really talk about what he may or may not say. But for now, it's not my job to tell you that it's going to work out well, and these guys aren't going to have fumbling problems. They could absolutely. I don't know these guys personally. I can't tell you that they're walking around all day holding the football like this is the program. Like, all I know is, we've seen guys who have fumbling issues in the college often come to the league and get it rectified when they get NFL coaching. Like, I don't think that that's a crazy thing to say, all right, cool. This he might have had a fumbling problem. We've seen it with Travis Etienne. And all of a sudden, it wasn't a fumbling problem later. Like, again, you're saying he had that 1 fumble, but it was a notable one, but it was also just 1 fumble.
Right.
That means his fumbling issue that he had in 2022 has been rectified for the most part. If you want to say that about Tank Bigsby, that might be a little bit more of a conversation. He did have a few fumbles, and I know some of them didn't count because of penalties, or he recovered them in the end zone or things like that. Like,
or his O-lineman recovered them. Yeah, listen, you know who said that?
He had the big helicoptering fumble against, I believe it might have been, Cleveland, where he ended up getting hurt. Like that one, like, it didn't really count as a fumble because of the penalty, but it happened, and you can't like act like it didn't happen, like, and just delete that from like Men in Black. Like, it is what it is.
You're deep in the Duval Devout community. Has anybody been more harsh on Tank Bigsby on this show, at least, than I have about his fumbling issues? Absolutely, with Bigsby, I'm concerned. He's gotten better. But that doesn't mean I love it.
So let's package this bad boy then, because folks are thinking it's crazy when we have the conversation talking about moving off of Travis Etienne, and to the previous point, talking about potentially even thinking about moving off of Tank Bigsby. Now we've seen someone who may, and I'm not even saying it does, but may have a fumbling issue, may have a pass protection issue, struggles to catch the ball, but is a damned good running back with the ball in their hands. Is that not someone you would contemplate moving off of?
I mean,
I'm just being real. Like, I just said, like, 3 of the 4 things you have to do well as a running back are problematic. Like, I don't think it's crazy to be like, all right, if I'm a coaching staff and I'm a new coaching staff coming in, just trying not to have a bias in this thing and just evaluate what it is. I'm like, this dude struggles in pass protection. I can't put him out wide to catch the ball. I can't throw the ball out of the backfield. The ball's going to bounce off his forehead into the defender's hands. We've seen that in 2023
Literally,
season. Right. Right. He also fumbles. I mean, if I'm just being objective in this and having no dog in the fight, that's a rough conversation for Tank Bigsby. And we're not even talking about Travis Etienne. So drafting 2 guys makes total sense there.
Hey, man, this ain't an argument. I'm the one on this episode that wonder if he could be on the practice squad. Let's be real.
Yeah, but then somebody would get him. Somebody would pick him up off the practice squad. Let's be clear, like that would never take place. Where I can get it for free off weeks. I'm making it through waivers. Come on. But that's kind of why I say that. But no, but if you look at that Bashaw Tootin tape from college, you'll see the fact that you have a guy who's a really explosive running back, but also you'll see a guy who the coaching staff didn't really use him well. Like I had this conversation in great detail with News for Jats Jamal St. Cyr, because he was a big Bashaw Tootin guy early. And I was just like, you know what? Because I wasn't a Bashaw Tootin guy, but he was the one who said, just go back and look at his tape.
I said, we played the tweet on this show. What are you talking about, Willis?
Yeah. Look at how they used him. And I'm like, well, that's actually dang fair. So they used him more like Devon Achane in Miami, trying to get him to the edges on like every play because their offensive line at Virginia Tech was just not good on the interior. So they basically only did outside, and very rarely was like just between the tackles. But when they did, it was explosive. And I'm like, all right, cool. So maybe it was just the fact that he didn't have great coaching. So maybe if he gets into the NFL with NFL coaching, talking about his ball security, this will be a different conversation. You know what I mean? So like he's also had fumble issues, but if you're not paying attention to your scheme, maybe you're not paying attention to ball security in your day by day in practice. So from that, I would say I have a positive viewpoint of where the arrow could be pointing up for Bashaw Tootin as an NFL prospect versus a college prospect.
So going back to the question about multiple starters, maybe Travis Etienne starts out the starter, and I think he should, by the way, today. Camp hasn't happened yet as you hear this going, so, let's be clear. But today you would still pencil Etienne in as the starter, I think, first and foremost. However, if he develops and then Travis Etienne maybe gets dinged up, you can't guarantee Etienne will get back on the field. If only there were some legitimate examples, like, I don't know, James Robinson, for example.
That's fair. This is how it happened with Aaron Rodgers and everybody. Like, when Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre, and they keep going down that line. Jordan Love, they just keep going down that line. One guy gets off the field and he never gets it back. Well, Travis Etienne and James Robinson, now Travis Etienne and Bashaw too, and it could just be the exact same thing. That's kind of how the game goes.
You're not wrong. All right, man.
But I know you guys are excited right now because we're hitting that 8 o'clock time frame and that schedule release is dropping. So yes, I know you guys are ecstatic about it. But yeah, what were you saying, Kyle?
Let's get some of these comments and then we'll let them, we'll let them hit their show and watch their schedule release, whatever.
All right. So none of them look like game breakers learning the system. I'm not even.
He's talking about the rookies and how we shouldn't crown them yet and all that. He's got a point.
Oh, all right, cool.
Robert just trying to be intelligent. It's cool, no problem.
Fumble, your ass
beep is gone.
Gladstone not playing.
I don't think he.
All right, yeah, sure. And Dan G to wrap that bad boy up. I don't know what getting rid of him really does for you, though. If he was expensive, I'd get it, but
I don't think it's necessarily that they're out to get rid of Tank Bigsby. I just think his replacement's in the building. That's all. At some point,
I think if you're talking about your fourth running back if you don't win that third running back spots or second running back spot, obviously, then it's all about what are you contributing to special teams. And if Tank's not your kick returner, I guess I have no other idea what else he will be doing as far as the team is concerned. And at that point, you're just risking your roster spot. So that's the reason I say you're not trying to get rid of him, but he was going to have to earn that roster spot at that point. That's all.
Well, and you mentioned kick returner. I want to bring in Hef real quick here. Tootin will be a kick returner, so less opportunities to fumble. No, I don't agree with the.
Tank Bigsby?
Tank Bigsby.
We just talked about the Tank Bigsby fumble in the Cleveland game, that big explosive helicopter hit. So I'm just like, yes, that just happened last year.
Well, and it's not so much fewer opportunities to fumble per se. It's just that when it happens, it's a lot worse. So there's that. But I'll put it this way: Tootin as a kick returner is also incredibly compelling. I can't front.
No, absolutely. He's so explosive, and the way that they use this new, the XFL kick return situation, that would be a great replacement for goodness gracious, Devin Duvernay. So Yeah, I'm in with that. That's fine. Zenith. Oh, welcome to the chat, Zenith. I feel like the only guy we can write off out of the gate is Robinson, Keelan Robinson, because we haven't seen much from him.
Sure.
I mean, he was originally brought in as that kick returner guy, so we'll see. I mean, that could be a little bit of a competition just there between a lot of the rookies who have that return ability and Robinson, maybe even Tootin. I guess we'll see there. Hef says I think Tank is an up back on punt formations. If that's true, then awesome. I didn't register that, honestly. His special team snaps. And well, Tootin is the fumbler in college, sure.
Yeah, that's
the 4 fumbles. Part. Yeah. That's the whole question of whether or not that staff is going to be able to get it on top of him and trying to, get him rectified, figure that out, like we see in a lot of NFL backs holding the ball higher. And Zenith, again, I feel like that running back camp battle is coming early. Allen is only 20. Imagine if he can clearly get more muscle in that lower half.
That's a fantastic point.
Yeah. So for the most part, I mean, that's what we got. The comments keep trickling in, but I think we're getting close to that wrap it up point. Actually, I'll give Zenith the last word.
This last one, yeah.
All right. Parker Washington has the highest return average of any Jaguar that isn't Starks. Starks with one. Is it like in history? Okay. That isn't Starks with one return of 56 yards. I feel like it's his until it isn't. All right, so Parker Washington as the punt returner is what he's kind of indicating, and maybe even one of the 2 kick returners.
Well, and his point is made. If heading into the camp, you still got Parker Washington, cool. But here's my thing. Oh my gosh, I just saw the comment. So no, Bigsby got the sonic rings knocked out his beep in that Browns game. You're not wrong, Angelo. You're not wrong. But to finish the point on what Zena said about Parker Washington as the returner, obviously you would pencil him in today, sure. But between, time running out potentially on Parker Washington contract-wise before he would get a second contract, and what I think his role is about to be in this offense, which is maybe kind of that slot possession receiver guy. I think that not to mention with Tootin's speed, he will challenge Parker Washington. But to your point, if you think he's the incumbent and you would pencil him in today's Zenith, I'm not mad at that.
Right. If Parker Washington and Tootin as your kick return is an absolutely fine option, for those 2 guys back, and Parker Washington as maybe your punt returner, I'm fine with that. Again, I think he's shown himself to be pretty solid as a punt returner, so I don't have any issues there. I like him to catch it a little bit cleaner. Sometimes he give me them heart attacks, not as a media person, but as a fan of the team. So from that perspective, I'm here. But also, I think he's pretty good at seeing the holes and kind of just taking what's there and getting off the field. So I'm cool with that. But yeah, you got anything else you want to add, sir, about this running back class, about this backfield?
All that's left for me to ask is Travis D. Holmes. Tell him where you can be found.
Well, of course, I can be found as Travis D. Holmes on X, on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, all the different socials. But most importantly, find my writings covering the Jacksonville Jaguars at bigcatcountry.com. Whether it's the pressers, whether it's the OTA wrap-ups, that's coming up, or the rookie minicamp, etc. We got you covered and on the ground, giving you our observations from everything that's happening surrounding the Jacksonville Jaguars that's under the sun. So lock it in, save it as your favorites. Come back and we'll have these conversations always, bro. Well, where can you be found?
Of course, I'm Kyle Nash, student of the game. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as a student of the game. Check out my writing with the Fans First Sports Network covering the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Orlando Magic. Hey, the NBA draft is coming. Maybe they'll get some shooting. Anyways, so make sure you check that out, Fans First Sports Network, as well as my work with the Black and Gold Banneret, covering football and basketball on the Night Shift podcast and the Night Shift YouTube channel. The win-loss over-under came out for the UCF Knights recently, Travis D. Holmes. I write about what that tells us Vegas thinks of your UCF Knights. So make sure you check that out, blackandgoldbanneret.com. So Guys in the comments, you're still doing your thing in there. Keep the lightsaber battle duel going. Don't act like I don't go in there after these episodes are over and don't get a laugh or even just some good thoughts. Hey, mailbags have driven a lot of great episodes here from you guys too. You guys have done amazing things. Please keep it up. And we'll have an announcement sooner than later about how your support has taken us to a particular place. I'll tease them with that. So, for my personal champion, Travis D. Holmes, I am Kyle Nash, student of the game. Until next time, everyone, class dismissed.